there, welcome to A Healthy Conversation. You're back at Krech Cottage at Indian Lake. We've got birds, we've got ducks, we've got
gunshots.
Yeah, a little bit. We're not sure if somebody's shooting ducks in the background, we're not sure. But you can hear the sounds. It's definitely a place to relax, and when you relax, you get into a better state of health. Now, on the last episode, we talked about sharing with you some information about cholesterol, and specifically cholesterol testing that you may not know about. Now, we know you're familiar with LDL and HDL, and those terms are kind of thrown around all the time. LDL is supposedly bad, right? HDL is supposedly good. So what we're going to do right now, which we've talked to you about many times, is just have this conversation between John and I about this kind of secret sauce test that you can have done regarding cholesterol.
Well, first of all, there's a lot of misnomers about cholesterol. Good cholesterol, bad cholesterol. Technically, that's not true, because there's no such thing as good and bad cholesterol.
So HDL, LDL, not necessarily good and bad.
Low density lipoproteins
is what LDL stands for, low density lipoproteins.
HDL, high density lipoproteins. These are proteins that ferry the cholesterol to and from the cells. So it's not
they take the cholesterol to your cells.
It's like a trucking company taking it to and from the cells.
So what's the difference between the high and the low?
Well, the HDL takes the fat away from the cells, the LDL puts it in, and they should be balanced, okay?
Oh, which is why the H is seen as good and the L is seen as bad, because that hauls it in, the other one hauls it out.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, where a lot of the misinformation has come from, like if you go to your doctor and he says, well, your LDL is very high, it's like 140 or 145, and he says, we're going to put you on a cholesterol-lowering drug. Well, according to a lot of the new information right now, Dr. Steven Sinatra, who's a cardiologist, is saying this is not true, because what we're seeing is there's two different types of LDL, the so-called bad type of cholesterol. First of all, there is small cell and there is large cell type of LDL.
Okay.
The small cell LDL is called VLDL. Okay.
Which is, what's V?
V means it's like very little, basically.
Okay.
Okay. Those type of cholesterol particles are so little that they bond to the artery walls. That's why
very easily.
Very
right?
easily. Okay. That's why your arteries block up.
Got it.
There is also a large cell LDL, which the particles are so big that they bounce off the artery walls. They don't adhere to them.
Oh,
so it's actually
bigger is better.
Bigger is much better, absolutely. Okay. So what is happening is that a whole bunch of people are on cholesterol-lowering drugs that really don't need to be. When I had a physical done, I asked the tech that was doing it, I says, I want my VLDL ratios done, because they usually don't do that. You have to ask for them. Well, mine came back, my LDL came back at 145 or so, very, very high.
Right.
But my VLDL levels were like 15 or 16, very, very low, which means that most of my LDL was the very good kind. So I wasn't really worried about it.
So the secret sauce test is VLDL. You want to request the VLDL because, again, what we want to get rid of are those little tiny particles that can adhere.
I was surprised that the doctor that did your test, very, very expensive test, he didn't even do it.
Yeah, well, that's just it. Your medical professional may not know. And listen, it's not because they don't care. They're overwhelmed with all the information thrown at them. They're overwhelmed with their practice costs and these new healthcare administration things that are going on out there. So you want to request a VLDL test, because when that number is low, that's a great thing. That number's a little high, that's not so good. And what are those numbers for a VLDL? Just so something.
Well, the VLDL should be, some of the references are up to about 30, 35, somewhere right around there. So
good or bad?
If you are under the number 30 or 35, it's very, very good.
Okay.
When they start going way above that, that's when it's bad.
That's when it's no good. Okay, so remember VLDL. We've given you information today you may not have known about before. Come and see us again. We're having all kinds of healthy conversations these days. See you next time.